Okay, so you know those moments, right? That sudden intuition just before someone calls. Or maybe finding that perfect parking spot exactly when you need it. Have you ever stopped to think, maybe these aren't just, coincidences. Maybe they're little hints, echoes from something deeper. Today on The Deep Dive, we're going to explore exactly that. How you might already be living in higher dimensions, often without even realizing it. We'll be drawing on some really fascinating material, including a deep explanation from the Library of Thoth channel. So yeah, let's unpack.
Absolutely. And our goal here really is to help you see how your brain might feel kind of trapped in this three-dimensional box, but your actual consciousness, it's already playing in a much bigger field. It's operating beyond those limits all the time. And what's so interesting now is that science is actually starting to nod along with ancient wisdom on becoming, almost verifiable. Understanding this stuff, it genuinely changes everything. How you see your place in the universe, your ability to actually shape your reality. It's fundamental.
Yeah, and let's start with this core idea. What seems solid around you, like the chair you're in, the room, your body even. Fundamentally, it's not solid at all. It's all energy, vibrating incredibly fast. So fast our senses just interpret it as, fixed stuff, matter. Think of it like a radio. Seriously. Physical reality is like one station, one narrow frequency band. Yeah. And your consciousness, that's the receiver constantly tuning in. When you tune to, say, 101.5 FM, you didn't create 101.5 FM, did you?
No, of course not. I was already broadcasting.
Exactly. You just aligned your receiver to pick it up. Your consciousness does the same thing, tuning into different vibrational patterns that then become your experience. Now, when we talk dimensions in this context, especially for those of you deep into consciousness work, we got to move beyond high school geometry.
Oh, definitely. Length, width, height. That's useful for building a house, maybe?
Right. They taught us to think like surveyors when we needed to think more like like mystics or maybe quantum physicists. In this sense, a dimension isn't a place you go to. It's a vibrational pattern. It's like the quality, the texture of the reality you're experiencing right now.
That geometric view, the length, width, height, time thing, it really trains us to see reality like a giant filing, everything in its neat little spot. But that misses the symphony of it all, how consciousness actually works. It's not about location. The radio analogy works perfectly here. Switching from AM to FM isn't physically moving your radio across town, is it?
No, you just turn the dial.
Exactly. You shift the receiver to pick up different information that's already there, coexisting. Dimensions, in this sense, are like those different bands of information. It's about perception.
Okay, so if dimensions are these vibrations, how does this actually show up in our life? This brings us to a really key distinction. Living from a third-dimensional perspective versus, say, a fifth-dimensional one, most of the time, are kind of operating from 3D consciousness. And what defines, it's things like separation. Linear time feels separate from other world. You often believe you have to struggle and push hard to get. Time feels like a straight line, right? Past causes, present. And the things you desire, like targets you have to chase down. Your identity often gets wrapped up in external the role.
And that's so ingrained, isn't it? Our whole edge culture, it drills that chase and effort logic. Identify goal, make plan, work hard, overcome obstacles, get reward. That's the formula we're given. But that very logic off stuff constantly focus gap. And fast research from the heart, they've shown, measure that our hearts generate feels extend out several, and they change depending on when you feel genuine gratitude, love, that's outflowing. So this research is basically saying your internal state, it's an active broadcast.
Wow. Okay, so that's the 3D picture. Yep. Then what does 5D consciousness look like? How is it different? Well, the dominant experience shifts dramatically. Instead of separation, you feel interconnection. Things feel linked. Instead of constant effort, there's more flow. Synchronicity starts happening more often. Things line up. And time, it stops feeling so linear. It becomes more simultaneous. Past, present, future feel more like accessible states you can draw from, not just a fixed sequence. And here's the real kicker. Those desired outcomes, they aren't distant targets anymore. They already exist right now as vibrational patterns. Your job isn't to chase them down, but to align your own frequency with theirs, which perfectly sets up Neville Goddard's big insight.
Neville.
He distilled it down, didn't he?
Feeling is the secret. It's not just thinking positive thoughts or making vision boards. It's the actual felt experience in your body now of already having or being what you desire. Let's make this concrete. Think about this. Have you ever been thinking about a friend, like really thinking about them, and then boom, your phone rings or pings with a text from them?
It happens all the time. Right. Or walked into a room and just felt that thick tension from an argument that happened maybe an hour ago, even if nobody said a word.
Absolutely. You feel the residue.
These aren't just weird coincidences. They're actual examples of your consciousness working beyond those tight 3D boundaries. Mm-hmm. You're tapping into information, into realities that aren't limited by physical senses alone.
Yeah, and Goddard hammered this point home. He said, do not go anywhere. We simply enter. Think about that. Your outer world, your circumstances, they are always a direct mirror, a projection of your dominant, not just your wishes, but your actual vibrational resonance. The implication is huge. The limitations you perceive, they aren't solid walls built by the universe. They're just the edges of the frequency band you're currently.
So change the station.
Change the station, change the reality you experience. It's that direct. And, modern science is bumping up against this too, quantum entanglement.
Right, particles linked instantly across space.
Exactly, defies classical physics. Or look at research into morphic fields, suggesting learning can transfer between groups without physical contact. The picture emerging is, reality is way more fluid, interconnected, and responsive to consciousness.
Okay, so as someone starts consciously shifting, tuning into these higher frequencies, what happens? What does it feel like? People often talk about an energetic metamorphosis or like a vibrational realignment. It sounds dramatic, but think of it more like your whole system getting a major software up. And this often comes with noticeable signs, right? Like suddenly being way more sensitive to sounds or lights, or even just the emotional vibe in a room.
Oh, absolutely. Heightened sensitivity is a big one. Also, changes in sleep needing more or less, or waking up at odd hours. Dietary common too. Suddenly craving lighter foods, or losing taste for things you used to love.
And relationship. Old friendships or activities might suddenly feel flat or even draining.
Exactly. It's not random. It's your system naturally recalibrating. It's starting to resonate differently, so things that match the old frequency just don't fit in.
And how does this change how we deal with challenges? You mentioned obstacles earlier.
Yeah, this is crucial. In that old 3D mindset, a challenge looks like a wall. Something blocked, something to fight against or go around. But when you start operating from a higher vibrational perspective, say 5D awareness, those same challenges transform. They become doors.
Doors. How so?
They reveal exactly what needs shifting inside you for the outer situation to change, that difficult relationship. It's not just happening to you, it's literally showing you the vibrational patterns you're holding on.
Like attachment or lack of boundaries or...
Precisely. Financial struggles become feedback on your beliefs about abundance and worthiness. Health issues point to energetic imbalances asking for attention. The key isn't trying to escape the 3D world. It's learning to navigate it from a 5D operator,
Yeah.
Using the challenges as information.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you mentioned relationship. There's this kind of truth serum effect that happens too, isn't there? As your own awareness gets clearer, you start picking up on the real energy behind people's words and actions. It can be uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable sometimes. That friend who gives backhanded compliments, you suddenly feel the dissonance, the lack of integrity in your own body. It's almost physically jarring.
Yeah. And manipulation or just fakeness becomes energetically exhausting. You just don't have the bandwidth for it anymore.
You really don't. And this leads to something we could call frequency divergence. As your inner vibrations, like tuning that radio dial, people who are vibrating very differently might naturally drift away. It's often not about big fights or drama. It's more like you just don't resonate anymore. Your interests diverge. Your way of seeing the world shifts.
And that can bring up a lot of guilt, right? Like you're abandoning.
Huge guilt.
Yeah.
But it's about learning the difference between real love and just enabling old, unhealthy patterns. Remember what Goddard said.
The other is always you projected.
Exactly. As you change your internal state, your relationships have to realign to match that new vibration. It's energetic physics.
So navigating all this requires some new skills. One really powerful one is developing what the source calls the observer's advantage. Think about a time you got really triggered, like really hooked by something someone said or did.
Wow.
What happened in your body, like instantly?
Usually it's reaction, right? Defend, attack, withdraw. It feels automatic.
Totally automatic. But there's this tiny space, maybe just a millisecond, between the trigger and your usual reaction. That's where the power is. The source shared this great anecdote about someone in a heated argument suddenly feeling time slow down. And they could see themselves about to launch into their usual angry retort. But in that pause, they saw the anger as separate. Like, oh, there's anger, not I am angry.
That's the shift, witnessing it without being consumed by it. That's the observer stance.
And from there, you can choose differently.
Precisely. From that observer place, you become your own vibrational monitoring them. You start noticing when your energy field dips or gets tangled before it spirals. You can intervene proactively, like the example Sarah, who dreaded Sundays because of Monday anxiety.
Right. The anxiety would hijack her weekend.
Until she learned to notice the very first physical signs, the chest tightening, the breath changing. Instead of getting swept away, she could pause. She could ask, okay, what's this anxiety actually telling me? What needs it? It created space choice.
So how do we cultivate that? What are the practical tools?
Well, simple anchor practice, things like just bringing awareness to your breath, even for a minute, doing quick body scans throughout the day. Where am I holding tension? Noticing emotions and just labeling them, frustration, or okay, impatience is here, without getting lost in the story behind them, and asking that powerful question, what is this situation, this feeling trying?
And you mentioned that body scan technique when triggered.
Yeah, it's super effective. The moment you feel that charge, that heat rising, immediately scan your body head to toe. Where is it showing up physically? Jaw tight, shoulders hunched, stomach in knot. Just noticing it without judgment creates that tiny bit of space. It interrupts the automatic pattern. It's incredibly...
Okay, so the observer helps us manage our internal state. But what about, the external energetic environment? This leads to the idea of energetic hygiene, which I think is so important. It's like you wouldn't go weeks without brushing your teeth or showering. Right?
Hopefully not.
Your energetic body needs that same kind of regular care and attention because as you become more sensitive, operating from 5D, well, you pick up more stuff.
You really do. What used to just bounce off you can now really penetrate your field. That argument your colleagues had down the hall, you might actually feel the residue later.
It's not weakness, it's just expanded awareness.
Exactly. But without good energetic hygiene, that sensitivity can become a burden. You get easily overloaded or contaminated by dense energy arguments, stressful news, even just cluttered physical space.
So what does good energetic hygiene look like? What are some practices?
The source gives some great practical ones, like a simple morning clearing routine, 5 minutes. Visualize a column of pure light moving through your system, washing away anything that is
nice. I like that.
Using your breath intentionally throughout the day. If you feel yourself picking up someone else's stress, take 3 deep breaths, clear intention. I release what is not mine. It works. Physical movement, huge for discharge. If you've had a tense meeting, go for a quick walk, stretch, even just shake your hands out. Get the energy.
What about our environment?
Big impact. Clear clutter. Notice how lighting affects. Play uplifting music. Your physical space reflects and affects your energetic state. And be conscious about consumption. Not just food, though, that matters too, but information, news, social media, entertainment. Is it uplifting you or draining? That true crime podcast might be gripping, but what frequency is it tuning you in?
That's a really good point. And boundaries.
Essential. Learning to be open-hearted, but also sovereign in your own energy. Saying no when needed, protecting your space without building walls. And simple clearing protocols after intense interactions, washing your hands with intention, shower, spending a few minutes in nature if possible. They all help reset your...
So diet, sleep, sound, nature, they all play a role in keeping our energy field clear and coherent.
They're fundamental building blocks for maintaining that higher vibration.
Okay, let's circle back to this idea of coherence, specifically internal coherence. We mentioned heart math earlier. This isn't just woo-woo stuff, is it?
Not at all. They can literally show you the wave patterns on a screen. When your heart rhythm becomes coherent, smooth, and ordered, not jagged and chaotic, your whole physiology shifts.
Like stress hormones dropping.
Exact. Cortisol. Your brain function improves that prefrontal cortex for planning and higher thought, comes online more effectively. It's a measurable, optimal state for your body.
So it feels better. Sure.
Yeah.
But what does that do in terms of interacting with reality?
Here's where it gets really interesting. That measurable physiological shift. It changes how you resonate. Think of yourself like a tuning fork.
Oh, okay.
When you're vibrating coherently, consistently, you naturally start to attract and resonate with opportunities, circumstances that match that clear frequency. Like attracts, like energetic. I mentioned that client who struggled with her career. Her shift wasn't about networking harder. It was about cultivating genuine internal coherence, letting go of the underlying anxiety.
And then opportunities just showed up.
Organically, a position practically created for her, a chance encounter leading to a perfect consulting gig. Her external strategy didn't change nearly as much as her internal state. That was the key.
And this creates a kind of positive feedback loop, doesn't it? This cascading mechanism.
Precisely. When you achieve that genuine internal alignment, it cascades outwards. Your thoughts get clearer, your emotions stabilize, your actions become more aligned and purposeful, and maybe most importantly, your actual presence changes. People feel it. That friend you mentioned dealing with her teenager.
Yeah,
She didn't go in with arguments. She spent 10 minutes focusing on appreciation, getting her own heart coherent first. She approached the conversation differently with curiosity, not defense.
And the daughter responded differently.
Completely. She felt heard, safe. The whole dynamic shifted from conflict to connection, leading to a breakthrough. That's the power of shifting your own state first.
And things seem to happen faster then, with less struggle.
That's the acceleration phenomenon. Each choice for coherence builds your capacity for more coherent. Positive changes start manifesting more quick, often with way less perceived effort. Challenges don't disappear entirely, but they transform. They become feedback, information, signposts pointing to where alignment rather than roadblocks.
Which brings us to the really big picture, collective awakening. This isn't just about individual self-improvement, is it?
Not even close. As the source material suggests, we're arguably participating in the most significant evolutionary leap in human consciousness, well, possibly ever.
Wow. How does that work?
Consciousness isn't just individual, it operates as a field. Think Rupert Sheldrake's morphic field. When you achieve and maintain a stable 5D awareness, a coherent state, you literally strengthen that field for everyone. You make it easier for others around you to access similar states of awareness, peace, and clarity. Your personal work directly impacts the collective.
So my inner state influences the collective field.
Profoundly. Your role extends way beyond just sorting out your own life. You're contributing to a planetary shift.
You can kind of see that happening, can't you? Ideas that were considered totally fringe, even 5 or 10 years ago, energy work, consciousness, questioning the dominant narratives.
They're becoming mainstream conversations now, not because the ideas are new, but because more people are vibrating at a frequency where those ideas become perceivable, resonant.
And the old system, based on fear, scarcity, control.
They're starting to wobble, aren't they? Because their power comes from us feeding them our energy through fear and reactivity. When you consciously choose coherence, choose love, choose sovereignty, you withdraw your energy from those old structures. Stop powering them.
So my inner work is actually collective.
It's one of the most powerful forms of service there is right now. Every moment you choose coherence over reaction, authenticity over conformity, you act as a stabilizing anchor for the whole. It ripples out.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've covered a lot. From seeing reality as fundamentally vibration, these dimensions as states.
Right, to the practicalities of 3D versus 5D living, the power of the observer, the necessity of energetic hygiene.
And how cultivating internal coherence doesn't just change your life, but actually contributes to this bigger collective shift.
It's all deeply interconnected.
The amazing thing, really, is that the question isn't if you can access higher dimensional consciousness. The truth is you're already doing it probably more often than you realize.
And maybe the most important takeaway is this. Your awakening, your commitment to your own coherence and expansion, it matters way more than you might think. You're not just healing yourself. You're contributing to healing the world. You're not just expanding your possibilities. You're expanding what's possible for everyone.
So the invitation for you listening right now is to reflect on that. What does all this mean for you? And how might you consciously choose to work with these principles starting today to really transform your own experience? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the invisible but incredibly powerful forces shaping our reality.